The great chamber of the Galactic Council stood silent. Ambassador Thexavar looked across the curved rows of seats where representatives from 43 species waited. His four eyes blinked slowly, a sign of deep stress among his people, the Corians. 6 months had passed, and still no one wanted to say it out loud. "They are gone," Thexavar finally said. His voice echoed in the massive hall. "The humans have left us." A wave of uncomfortable shifting moved through the chamber. The Zelnari representative wrapped her tentacles tighter around her floating chair. The crystalline Vexani dimmed their glow. Everyone had known, of course. But hearing it spoken made it real. "They will return," said Counselor Kresh, a large reptilian from the Draka Concordat. "They need us more than we need them. This is just their way of asking for attention." Thexavar remembered when humans first arrived at the council, 150 years ago. They came in simple ships, their faces bright with hope. They had just developed faster-than-light travel, and were so excited to meet other species. Their ambassador, a man named Chen Wei, had given a speech about friendship and cooperation that had made even the coldest species feel something warm. But that warmth did not last long. The council had tested the humans, as they tested all new species. They checked their technology, their weapons, their biology. The results came back average. Humans had no natural armor like the Draka. They could not breathe different atmospheres like the Zelnari. Their lifespans were short compared to the Koreans. Their weapons were adequate but not impressive. Their ships worked but were not remarkable. A service species, the evaluation had concluded, suitable for support roles. And so humans became the workers of the galaxy. They fixed things. They maintained the great jump gates that connected the council worlds. They worked in hospitals, treating patients from dozens of species. They staffed the communication centers, helping different aliens understand each other. They taught children in schools across the galaxy. They did the 1,000 small jobs that kept civilization running. The council barely noticed them anymore. Humans were just there, like the air recyclers or the gravity generators. Functional, forgettable. Thexavar remembered the last council session with the humans. It was 3 months ago. Ambassador Sarah Chen had stood at the speaker's platform. She was an old woman, her hair gray, her face lined with age. She had been the human ambassador for 30 years. "The human commonwealth is withdrawing from the Galactic Council," she had said. Her voice was calm and formal. "Effective immediately. We thank you for the opportunity to serve. We wish you well," that was it. No anger, no demands, no explanation. Just a simple withdrawal notice. "Wait," Thexavar had called out. "Ambassador Chen, surely we can discuss this." "What do you want? Better quarters? More representation?" Sarah Chen had looked at him with tired eyes. "We want nothing, Counselor. We are simply leaving. Goodbye." She had walked out of the chamber, her footsteps echoing. Thexavar had expected her to come back. To negotiate. To make demands. That was how politics worked. But she did not come back. Within 48 hours, every human in council space had vanished. The workers at the jump gate stations. The doctors in the hospitals. The teachers in the schools. The engineers on the stations. All of them gone. They took everything with them. Their tools, their computers, their personal items. They even took their dead, removing remains from every memorial site across council space. It was as if they wanted to leave no trace behind. They took the bodies from the memorial gardens, someone had reported, shock in their voice. Even their war dead. Even the ones who died saving our people. Thexavar had thought it was strange, but the council had bigger concerns. Or so they believed. "This is good," Counselor Kresh had said at the emergency meeting. "We relied too much on the humans anyway. Now we will hire our own people for these jobs. It will be good for our economies." Others had agreed. The humans were easily replaced, they said. Any species could do maintenance work. The disruption would be minor and temporary. Thexavar had wanted to believe that. But even then, small problems were appearing. The jump gate to the outer rim had delayed 3 ships. A hospital on Station Theta 9 had called asking for help with a patient that only human doctors knew how to treat. A trade dispute between the Zelnari and the Vexani had escalated without a human mediator to calm things down. Minor issues, the council had declared. We will adapt. Now 6 months later, Thexavar stood in the chamber and wondered if they had made a terrible mistake. The minor issues were growing. The jump gates were becoming less reliable. Medical facilities reported more problems every day. Trade routes were slowing down, and the different species of the council were arguing more. old tensions rising without the calm human voices to ease things. "We should send a delegation to Earth," suggested the Zelnari representative, "to negotiate their return. We can offer them better terms." "What terms?" asked Thexavar. "We gave them good jobs. They were paid fairly. What more did they want?" No one had an answer. A junior aide approached Thexvar's seat, moving carefully through the chamber. She handed him a datapad. "Sir, the report you requested on human contributions to Council operations." Thexvar took the pad and began to read. His eyes widened with each line. Humans had maintained 87% of the jump gate calibration systems. Human doctors had treated over 40 different species, often finding solutions that specialists could not. Humans had staffed 90% of interspecies translation services. They had managed the logistics for 65% of Council trade. The numbers kept going. Page after page of data showing just how much the humans had been doing, how much they had been holding together. "By the ancestors," Thexvar whispered. "What is it?" asked Counselor Kresh. Thexvar looked up at the assembly. "We may have a problem. A very serious problem." But even as he said it, he knew that was an understatement. The humans had not just left. They had pulled out the supports that held the entire structure together. And the Council was only beginning to realize how far they could fall. In the empty human quarter of the Council station, lights flickered and died one by one. No one was there to fix them anymore. In the silence, a maintenance log lay forgotten on a desk, its last entry still glowing on the screen. "Fixed cooling system in Sector 7. Again. Told Supervisor Quelix about design flaw. Again. Recommendation ignored. Again. Maybe next time it breaks, someone else will fix it." Next time had come, and no one was there to fix anything. 1 year after the humans left, Engineer Krathven stood in the control room of Station Perseus and watched his world fall apart. He was a Chilik, an insectoid species known for their precise engineering skills. His 6 hands moved across the control panels, trying to fix the station's environmental systems. "Nothing worked. Temperature in Sector 4 is rising again," his assistant reported. "That is the 3rd time this week." Krathven clicked his mandibles in frustration. He was one of the best engineers in Council space. He had designed jump-capable ships. He had built orbital platforms. But he could not keep one simple station running properly. The problem had started small. A few weeks after the humans left, the cooling system in one sector had failed. Krathven had gone to fix it personally. He found the problem quickly enough, a worn coupling in the coolant line. But when he replaced it, 2 other systems started acting strangely. He fixed those and 3 more problems appeared. It was like the station itself was falling apart piece by piece. "Send repair team to Sector 4, Krathven ordered, "and check the power distribution while they are there. I have a feeling that is going to fail next." He was right. The power distributor failed 2 hours later. Across Council space, similar scenes were playing out. On Station Theta 9, doctors struggled with medical equipment that kept breaking down. The machines worked, but they needed constant adjustment and maintenance. Without humans to care for them, they failed more often. On the trade hub at Velcris Prime, cargo ships waited in long queues. The loading systems were backed up. The automated sorting machines jammed constantly. Goods piled up in warehouses. Merchants lost money and patience. "Where are the human workers?" they demanded. They kept things moving. Bring them back, but the humans were not coming back, and no one could find them. The jump gate network was the worst problem. These massive structures created stable wormholes between star systems, allowing ships to cross vast distances instantly. They were the backbone of Council civilization. Without them, travel would take years instead of hours. The gates still worked mostly, but they were becoming unreliable. Ships sometimes arrived hours late. Coordinates drifted, requiring constant recalibration. 2 ships had been lost completely, vanished into unstable jump space. Krathven had studied the jump gate systems, trying to understand why they were failing. The answer frustrated him. The gates were not failing. They were working exactly as they had always worked. The problem was that they had always been imperfect. The humans had been constantly adjusting and calibrating them, making thousands of tiny corrections every day. Without those corrections, the gates were reverting to their original, less reliable state. In his research, Krathven discovered something that made his blood run cold. He found maintenance logs from Station Perseus, records kept by the human workers. He read through pages and pages of entries. Fixed cooling coupling in Sector 4. Replacement will last 3 months at most. Recommended full system upgrade. Supervisor said upgrade is too expensive. Recalibrated medical scanner in Bay 7. This is the 9th time this year. Equipment is outdated. Suggested newer model. Request denied. Repaired cargo sorting system. Original design has fundamental flaw. Submitted improved design to management. Design filed away and forgotten. The logs went on and on. Years of them. Decades. The humans had been identifying problems, proposing solutions, making improvements. And they had been ignored. Krathven felt something he rarely experienced. Shame. The humans had not been doing simple maintenance work. They had been holding the entire infrastructure together through constant effort and creativity. They had been the glue keeping everything from falling apart, and the council had treated them like janitors. Political tensions were rising too. The council chamber had become a place of accusations and blame. The Zelnari collective blamed the Corian hegemony for offending the humans. The Corians blamed the Draka for being too aggressive. The Draka blamed everyone else for being weak. If the Corians had not been so arrogant, the humans would still be here, the Zelnari ambassador shouted during one heated session. If the Zelnari had supported our policies, this would never have happened, Thexvar shot back. Old rivalries were surfacing. Species that had maintained peace for centuries started viewing each other with suspicion. Trade disputes escalated into threats. Border incidents increased. The humans had done more than just fix machines. They had been mediators, neutral parties who could calm tensions between species that distrusted each other. A Corian and a Zelnari might hate each other, but both could trust a human. Humans had no ancient grudges, no old wars to remember. They had been the peaceful center that kept everyone working together. Without them, the council was fracturing. Krathven presented his findings to Thexvar in a private meeting. The Korean ambassador looked older now, his scales dull with stress. How bad is it? Thexvar asked. Bad, Krathven said simply. The jump gate network will be at 50% capacity within another year. Medical facilities are struggling. Trade is down 40% and dropping. And the political situation is worse than the technical problems. Can we fix it ourselves? Krathven clicked his mandibles. Eventually, yes. But it will take years, maybe decades. We need to redesign systems, retrain workers, rebuild infrastructure. The humans were doing all of this invisibly, constantly. We never noticed because everything just worked. Why did everything work? Thexvar asked. What made the humans so good at this? Krathven had thought about this question a lot. We are all specialists, he said finally. My species builds things. The Zelnari are traders. The Draka are warriors. The Vexani are scholars. We are each very good at one thing. But humans, they were average at everything. That was their strength. They could do a little bit of everything. They could think in ways we cannot because they are not locked into one way of seeing problems. Thexvar was quiet for a long time. We called them unexceptional. Yes, and we were fools. A message arrived at the council headquarters. It was from a mining colony on the edge of council space. They had found something strange. Human ships had been spotted in the area, moving toward the rim of the galaxy. When the colony tried to contact them, the humans did not respond. They just kept going, disappearing into unexplored space. Should we follow them? Someone asked. And say what? Thexvar replied bitterly. Please come back and fix our mistakes? Please forgive us for treating you like servants for 150 years. The council voted to send expeditions anyway. They needed to find the humans. They needed to apologize. They needed to make this right, but deep down, Thexvar suspected it was already too late. The humans had not left in anger, demanding things. They had left quietly, with dignity, taking their skills and their knowledge and their endless patience somewhere else, somewhere they might be appreciated. Krathven returned to Station Perseus and continued his work, fixing problems as fast as they appeared. But for every problem he solved, 2 more emerged. The station was dying slowly, and he did not have enough hands to stop it. In the quiet moments between crises, he thought about the humans who had worked here. He had never really talked to them. He had seen them as background workers, people who did simple jobs. Now he understood they had been the most important workers on the station, and he would never get a chance to thank them. 18 months after the departure, The Council sent 12 expeditions into human space. Each one carried ambassadors, gifts, and carefully written apologies. They would find the humans. They would negotiate. They would fix this mistake. Commander Vrek led the primary expedition. He was a Korean military officer, chosen for his diplomatic skills and his patience. His ship, the Dawn of Unity, was the finest vessel the Council could provide. They wanted to make a good impression. The journey to Earth took 3 weeks through the unstable Jumpgate network. When they finally arrived in the Sol system, Vrek felt a chill run through him. Earth was silent. The blue and green planet still orbited its yellow star, beautiful and peaceful. But there were no ships in orbit. No space stations. No satellites. The orbital shipyards were gone. The lunar colonies were empty. Mars showed no signs of habitation. Scan for life signs, Vrek ordered. Scanning, his science officer reported. I am detecting plant life, animal life, but no technology signatures. No power sources. No communications. No humans. They sent probes to the surface. The cities were empty. Buildings stood intact but abandoned. Streets were clear, as if someone had carefully cleaned everything before leaving. There was no damage, no signs of struggle. The humans had simply left their homeworld behind. Check the other colonies, Vrek said. All of them. Over the next month, they visited all 47 human colony worlds. New Terra, Covenant, Nova Beijing, Elysium, Garden World. Every single one was the same. Empty, clean, silent. The humans had removed everything they could carry and abandoned the rest. It was eerie. Whole planets, carefully terraformed and built up over generations, simply left behind. It must have taken incredible organization to evacuate so many people so quickly. The logistics alone were staggering. How did they do this? Vrek wondered aloud. Moving billions of people with no one noticing? They maintained the transport systems, his aide reminded him. They knew the schedules, the routes, the capacities. They probably planned this for years. Years, that word hit Vrek hard. The humans had not left impulsively. This was not a tantrum or a negotiating tactic. They had carefully planned their complete departure from Council space. They truly did not want to come back. The expedition searched for any clue, any hint of where humanity had gone. They found nothing until they returned to Earth orbit. There, floating alone in the darkness, was a small beacon. It was broadcasting a simple signal, repeating endlessly. Play the message, Vrek ordered. The screen activated. Ambassador Sarah Chen appeared, looking exactly as she had at her last Council appearance. But her eyes were different. Not angry, not sad, just tired. To whoever finds this, she began. I am Sarah Chen, last ambassador of the Human Commonwealth to the Galactic Council. If you are watching this, you are probably looking for us. You probably want us to come back. I need you to understand why we left and why we will not return. Vrek leaned forward, listening carefully. For 150 years we served the Council. We fixed your ships when they broke down. We healed your sick when your own doctors could not help them. We taught your children. We mediated your disputes. We maintained your infrastructure. We did the work that no one else wanted to do, and we did it well. For 150 years you told us we were not special. You said we were adequate for maintenance work but not good enough for real responsibility. You gave us service jobs and expected us to be grateful. You tested us, evaluated us, and decided we were average. Sarah Chen paused, and something like a sad smile crossed her face. You were right about one thing. We are not special. We do not have natural weapons or armor. We cannot breathe poison or survive in vacuum. Our technology is not magical. We are just people who work hard and care about doing things right. But here is what you did not understand. We were not just fixing your machines. We were improving them. Every day we made small changes, tiny adjustments, careful improvements. We filed reports about problems and solutions. We suggested upgrades. We offered better designs, and every day you ignored us. The image of Sarah Chen looked directly at the camera, and Vrek felt as if she was looking right into his soul. We tried to tell you. We tried to show you. But you could not see us as anything except servants. So we made a decision. If you will not value us here, we will find someone who will value us somewhere else. We have left Council space completely. We have gone to a place where we can build something new, something better, somewhere we can be partners instead of servants. You will look for us. You will not find us. We are very good at logistics, remember? We know how to move quietly and leave no trail. Sarah Chen's expression softened slightly. I do not hate you. None of us do. We are just disappointed. We hoped for friendship and found only employment. We hoped for respect and found only dismissal. So we are seeking those things elsewhere. You will face difficulties without us. Your systems will fail because we were the ones keeping them running. Your species will fight because we were the ones keeping peace. Your civilization will struggle because we were holding it together. These are not threats. These are just facts. The ambassador reached forward, preparing to end the recording, but she paused and added one more thing. We left you the manuals, every system we maintained, every process we managed, every technique we developed. It is all there in the Council database. You can learn to do what we did. It will take time and effort, but you can do it. You are smart species. You will figure it out, or you will not. That is up to you now. Goodbye, Galactic Council. We will not see each other again. The message ended. The screen went dark. Rex sat in silence for a long time. His crew waited, no one speaking. Finally, he stood up. Find those manuals, he ordered. Download everything. They found the manuals exactly where Sarah Chen said they would be, buried deep in the Council database. Thousands of documents, millions of pages, detailed instructions on maintaining jump gates, repairing medical equipment, managing trade logistics, mediating disputes. Everything the humans had learned over a century and a half of service. Rek opened one manual at random. It was about jump gate calibration. The instructions were perfectly clear, written in simple language that any species could understand. He read through the procedure, following each step, and then he reached the end. The manual explained what to do, but not why it worked. It gave the procedure, but not the understanding. Following these instructions would keep the jump gates working, but it required constant attention and adjustment. It required judgment about when to calibrate and when to wait, when to push and when to be gentle. It required intuition. Human intuition, can we use these? His science officer asked. Yes, Freck said slowly, but it will be hard. The humans made this look easy because they understood it deeply. We will have to learn what they knew instinctively. How long will that take? Freck looked at the endless list of manuals, each one representing years of human experience and knowledge. Decades, he said finally. Maybe generations. The humans did not just leave us their work. They showed us how much work it really was. The expedition returned to Council space with their findings. The news spread quickly. The humans were truly gone. They had left instructions behind, but those instructions could not replace the humans themselves. The Council held an emergency session. They voted unanimously to offer humanity full membership rights, equal representation, and a formal apology. They broadcast the message across all frequencies, sending it to every corner of known space. No response came. Days passed. Then weeks. The silence from humanity was absolute. They are not coming back, Thexvar said to the Council. We need to accept that. We need to move forward without them. But even as he said it, he wondered if moving forward was possible. The humans had not just been workers. They had been the foundation that everything else was built on. And that foundation was gone. 3 years after the humans left, Ambassador Thexvar walked through empty corridors of the Council station. Half the lights were out. The air smelled stale because the recycling systems were barely working. His footsteps echoed in the silence. The station had once held representatives from 43 species. Now only 31 remained. 12 species had withdrawn from the Council completely, going back to their home systems. More were considering it. The galaxy was falling apart. Thexvar entered his office and sat down heavily. His scales were pale with stress. He had aged 10 years in the last 3. His doctor said he needed rest, but there was no time for rest. There was too much to do and not enough people to do it. A report waited on his desk. He did not want to read it. He already knew what it would say, but he picked it up anyway. Jump gate network status critical. Only 30% of gates operating at full capacity. 20% offline completely. Remaining 50% unreliable. Estimated time to full network restoration, 15 to 20 years. Trade status, down 65% from baseline. Multiple worlds reporting supply shortages. 3 famine situations developing. Medical status, hospital capacity reduced by 40%. Unable to treat multiple cross-species conditions. Mortality rates increasing across 17 member species. Political status, Council authority declining. Border conflicts increasing. Civil unrest reported on 12 worlds. The numbers went on, each one worse than the last. Thexvar set the report down and closed his eyes. He remembered the first time he had really understood what the humans had been doing. It was 6 months after they left. He had been going through old council records looking for anything that might help. He had found archived video of a council session from 40 years ago. In the video, a human ambassador, a young man named David Torres, stood at the speaker platform. He was proposing a new system for jump gate maintenance. The current maintenance schedule is inefficient, Torres had explained. We are fixing gates after they fail. I propose a predictive maintenance system. We monitor the gates constantly and fix small problems before they become big ones. This will reduce downtime by approximately 40% and extend gate lifespan significantly. Thexvar had watched himself in that old video. He had dismissed the proposal quickly. The current system works adequately, Video Thexvar had said. We see no need for changes. Proposal denied. Torres had nodded politely and sat down. No argument. No protest. He had simply accepted the decision, but then Thexvar had found something else in the records. Maintenance logs from after that meeting. The humans had implemented their predictive maintenance system anyway. They had done it quietly without authorization, just as part of their regular work, and it had worked exactly as they said it would. Gate failures had decreased. Efficiency had improved. The humans had been right and the council had been wrong. And the humans had fixed the problem anyway without making a fuss about it. Thexvar had kept searching through old records. He found dozens of similar cases, hundreds, the humans proposing solutions being ignored and then implementing the solutions anyway, making things better even when no one appreciated it. They had been improving council civilization for decades, and no one had noticed because the improvements were so smooth and subtle. The humans had made everything work better without drawing attention to themselves. Krathven entered the office without knocking. The engineer looked exhausted. He had been working constantly trying to keep critical systems running. Station Perseus is offline, he reported. Complete environmental system failure. We had to evacuate. That is the 7th station we have lost. Can we repair it? Eventually. But it will take months. We do not have the replacement parts. The humans were making those parts. We do not even know how to manufacture some of them yet. Thexvar felt a wave of despair. How much longer can we hold together? Krathven clicked his mandibles. Hard to say. A year, maybe 2? The cascade failures are accelerating. Every system that fails makes other systems fail faster. We are trying to stop an avalanche with our bare hands. A message alert chimed. Thexvar opened it, hoping for good news. He found none. The Korean hegemony is having a civil war, he read aloud. Splinter factions fighting over resources. The government is requesting council support. We cannot give support, Krathven said. We barely have resources for ourselves. I know. More reports came in throughout the day. The Zelnari Collective had closed its borders, refusing to trade with anyone. The Draka Concordat was having food riots. The Vexani were retreating into isolation, their crystalline cities going dark. The galaxy that had been united for 1,000 years was breaking into pieces, and all because the humans were gone. That night, unable to sleep, Thexvar went to the council archives. He accessed the database of human contributions. Sarah Chen had said they left manuals, but there was more than just manuals. There were videos, records, personal logs, the whole history of humanity's time with the council. He found a video from 100 years ago, Earth during a festival called First Contact Day, humans celebrating the anniversary of meeting the council. He watched crowds of happy people, children waving flags from dozens of different worlds, humans proud to be part of something bigger than themselves. The hope in their faces broke his heart. Another video. A human doctor named Elizabeth Kim, receiving an award for developing a treatment for a disease that affected the Zelnari. She had spent 20 years on the research. In her acceptance speech, she talked about how rewarding it was to help other species, to bridge the gaps between different forms of life. Another video. Human engineers working in deep space, repairing a jump gate during a dangerous solar storm. They risked their lives to keep the gate operational, because 3 colony ships needed it to evacuate from a natural disaster. All 3 ships made it through. The humans were never even thanked. The report just said gate maintenance completed successfully. More videos. More records. Hundreds of thousands of humans doing difficult, dangerous, important work, always professionally, always competently, Always without complaint and always unappreciated, Thexvar found himself crying. His species did not cry often, but tears ran down his scaled face. Not for his civilization, though it was dying. Not for himself, though he had failed. He cried for the humans who had given so much and received so little. He found one more video. The last one. Sarah Chen giving her final speech to the council. Thexvar had been there in person, but he had not really listened at the time. Now he listened carefully to every word. "We are not leaving because we are angry," Sarah Chen had said. "We are leaving because we are tired. Tired of being invisible. Tired of having our expertise dismissed. Tired of being told we are adequate but never excellent. We know our worth now. We hoped you would see it too. You did not. That is not anger talking. That is just sadness." Thexvar paused the video. He looked at Sarah Chen's face frozen on the screen. Her expression was not bitter. It was just profoundly disappointed. Like a teacher who had expected better from a student who refused to learn. A new message arrived. Priority flag. Thexvar opened it. Long-range sensors have detected unusual activity in the Andromeda sector. Multiple jump gate signatures. Technology signatures that do not match any known council specifications. Estimated number of active gates over 500. Estimated construction time less than 3 years. Thexvar read the message 3 times. 500 jump gates in 3 years? The council had built less than 2,000 gates in 1,000 years. What could create so many gates so quickly? And then he understood. He pulled up the technical data. The new gates used different physics, more efficient designs. They were more stable, faster, cheaper to build. They were better than council gates. Much better. Krathven arrived, having received the same message. "Those are human gates," he said. "They must have been developing this technology for years, keeping it secret." "No," Thexvar said quietly. "They were not keeping it secret. They were trying to give it to us, remember? 40 years ago, David Torres proposed a new jump gate design. We rejected it without even looking at the plans." Krathven's mandibles clicked in realization. They tried to share their innovations, and we called them adequate but not exceptional. We thought we knew better. The sensor data updated. More information about the Andromeda sector. Communications traffic suggesting a large coalition of species. Multiple languages, many of them unfamiliar. The communications mentioned something called the Cooperative Network. Thexvar felt cold understanding wash over him. The humans had not gone away to hide. They had gone away to build something new. Something better. And they were not building it alone. 7 years after the humans left, the Galactic Council was a shadow of its former glory. The Grand Chamber was mostly empty now. Only 23 species still maintained ambassadors. The rest had withdrawn, focusing on their own survival. Thexvar stood at a window looking out at the damaged station. Whole sections were dark now, too broken to repair with their limited resources. Ships came and went irregularly. The jump gate network barely functional. Trade had nearly stopped. Entire worlds were isolated. They had failed. Not just failed to keep the humans. Failed at everything. Krathven approached, moving slowly. The engineer was old now, worn down by years of desperate work. "The sensors have picked up something," he said. "A ship entering council space." "Just one, small, not military." "Pirates?" Thexvar asked tiredly. Pirates had become common as council authority collapsed. "No, it is broadcasting human identification codes, the old ones, from before they left." Thexvar felt his heart beat faster. A human ship? After 7 years? It is requesting permission to dock. The ship is called Remembrance. They went to the docking bay together along with a small honor guard. No one knew what to expect. Hope, fear, and shame mixed together in Thexvar's chest. The ship was small and elegant, built with technology that made council vessels look primitive. It docked smoothly and the airlock opened. Ambassador Sarah Chen walked out. She was old now, truly old. Her hair was completely white. Her face was lined deeply. But she walked steadily, her eyes clear and sharp. Behind her came 2 young humans, her aides perhaps. Thexvar bowed deeply, lower than he had ever bowed to anyone. "Ambassador Chen, welcome. We are honored by your presence. We have hoped for 7 years that you might return." "I have not come to return," Sarah Chen said quietly. "I have come to deliver a message." They walked to a small conference room. Sarah Chen declined offers of food and water. She sat down across from Thexvar and Krathven, her expression neutral. You found our gates in the Andromeda sector, she said. It was not a question. Yes, Thexvar admitted. We detected them 2 years ago. We did not send expeditions. We thought you would not want to be disturbed. A small smile touched Sarah's face. That was wise. And polite. Thank you for respecting our wishes, may I ask? What have you been building? Sarah Chen leaned back in her chair. 7 years ago we left your council. We took our ships, our knowledge, and our people. We went to the edges of explored space to regions you thought were worthless, and we found species there, dozens of them. Species that never joined the council because they were deemed too primitive or too different or simply too far away. The Kith, who live in gas giants and think in ways completely alien to solid matter beings. The Seedborn, who are plant-based and live on thousand-year timescales. The Makers, who are artificial intelligences that evolved naturally from ancient computers, species you ignored because they did not fit your standards. Thexvar felt shame wash over him again. He remembered those evaluation reports. Species rejected for membership because they were too unusual. We approached them, Sarah continued, not as superiors coming to civilize them, as partners looking for friends. We offered to share our knowledge. They offered to share theirs. And together we built something new. We call it the Cooperative Network. The gates we detected? Krathven asked. The Kith understand physics in ways we never could because they experience matter differently. They helped us design better jump gate technology. The Makers process information faster than any biological brain. They optimized our systems. The Seedborn think in the long term, helping us plan sustainably. Every species brings something unique. And when you combine all those unique perspectives, you create something greater than any one species could achieve alone. Sarah Chen's voice was not boastful, just factual, stating simple truth. In 7 years, we have built 500 jump gates. We have connected 30 species into a true cooperative network. We have eliminated poverty on 17 worlds. We have solved medical problems that species struggled with for centuries. We are thriving. The words hurt worse than accusations would have. The humans were not angry. They had simply moved on and built something better. Why did you come back? Thexvar asked quietly. You said you would not see us again. Sarah Chen was silent for a moment. I am old, she said finally. I was young when we first joined the council. I am old now, and old people think about unfinished business. The council was my life for 60 years. I needed to see it one more time, to say goodbye properly. But there is another reason. My government sent me with an offer, not the offer you probably expect. She pulled out a data tablet and set it on the table. The cooperative network is growing rapidly. More species are asking to join every month. We have room for new members. We are extending an invitation to the Galactic Council species. Thexvar stared at her. You want us to join you? If you wish. But you need to understand what that means. The cooperative network has no servants. Every species is equal. Every voice matters. When you join, you do not join as leaders. You join as partners. You will work alongside species you once deemed unworthy. You will learn from them, and they will learn from you. Your pride, your sense of superiority, your old hierarchies, all of that must be left behind. She looked directly at Thexvar. Can you do that? Can you accept that the species you dismissed as average might be your equals? That the species you ignored might be your teachers? Thexvar felt the weight of that question. 7 years ago, he would have been insulted. Now looking at the ruin around him, he felt only humility. I can, he said softly. I do not speak for all council species, but I can accept that. Then you may apply for membership, Sarah Chen said. There is a process. You will be evaluated, not on your military power or your technology, but on your ability to cooperate, to share, to work as equals with others. Some of you may be accepted quickly. Others may need time to learn, and some may never be ready. That is acceptable. The network is for those who choose to be partners. Krathven clicked his mandibles. And if we refuse? If we choose to remain as we are? Sarah Chen shrugged. Then you remain as you are. We will not force anyone. The network continues to grow with or without the council. But I will tell you honestly, we are talking to many species on your borders. Species that were never council members. They are very interested in joining us. The galaxy is changing. You can be part of that change or you can be left behind. That choice is yours. She stood up, preparing to leave. Thexvar stood as well. Ambassador Chen, I must say something. On behalf of the council, on behalf of my species, on behalf of myself, I am sorry. We were wrong about you, about humans. You gave us everything and we gave you nothing in return. I am deeply, profoundly sorry. Sarah Chen looked at him for a long moment. Her expression softened slightly. I believe you, she said, and I appreciate your apology. But apologies do not rebuild trust. Only time and actions do that. If you join the network, you will have a chance to show that you have learned, to prove that you can be true partners. That is worth more than words. She walked toward the airlock, then paused and looked back. I need to tell you something else. We did not leave because we were weak. We left because we were strong. Strong enough to know our worth. Strong enough to walk away from those who did not value us. Strong enough to build something new instead of accepting something broken. The galaxy is full of species that are told they are not good enough, too primitive, too different, too average. We found them. We told them they were wrong. They are good enough, exactly as they are, and together we are building something wonderful. You can be part of that, but first you need to believe it yourselves. You need to see value in those you dismissed. Until you can do that, no amount of technology or resources will save you. Ambassador Sarah Chen walked back to her ship. Thexvar and Krathven watched the Remembrance detach and accelerate away, its drives using physics the Council barely understood. They stood in silence for a long time. Finally, Krathven spoke. What do we do? Thexvar thought about the question, about the broken stations and failing gates, about the species fighting over scraps, about the civilization that had thought itself superior and learned too late that it was not. We call an emergency council session, he said. We present the offer, and then we let each species decide for themselves. And what will you tell them? Thexvar looked out at the darkness where the human ship had disappeared. Out there, somewhere, humans and dozens of other species were building a new civilization, one based on cooperation instead of hierarchy. On partnership instead of service, I will tell them the truth, he said. That we were given a precious gift and we threw it away. That we were offered friendship and we offered only jobs. That we had a chance to be part of something beautiful, and we chose pride instead. And that now, if we are very lucky and very humble, we might get a second chance. And if they refuse, if they cling to the old ways, then they will fall alone. But I will not fall with them. I am requesting transfer to the cooperative network, alone if necessary. I have spent 7 years watching our civilization die. I will spend the rest of my life helping build something better.